Hi, welcome back to the Radiant Relationship Show, where we keep exploring how to heal from your heartbreak so we can heal the collective heartbreak. I'm your host, Sita Sadhana Kaur, and today my guest is Anaiya Sophia. And Anaiya Sophia is also a Kundalini yoga practitioner, and she is still a yogini, and she is a Chatelaine, mystic and author, whisperer and librarian of the sacred wisdom. So I will let Anaiya Sophia to introduce herself because there is so much more to say about her. I'm so honored to have her here with me, and this is my third interview, so I'm really full with emotions. Welcome, Anaiya.
Oh, thank you so much, and Satnam to you.
Satnam. Please tell a bit more about yourself, because you are such a vibrant personality and your journey is so inspiring, and where you are now in your life.
Well, I think, to be honest, Kundalini yoga was my big awakening and expanding practice. And as you say, I still do it now, 25 years later. But it prepared me, I believe, to come to the French Pyrenees. Because the very moment I got here, which is where I live now, another huge chapter of my life opened up, which was what felt like the communication and merging with the history that's embedded here in these mountains. So along came the influence of Mary Magdalene, the Cathars, the Templars. So I thank Kundalini Yoga for opening up my subtle anatomy to be able to have this extraordinary ongoing conversation with this land.
Yes, yeah. Well, and let's start there, because your first book was open your heart with Kundalini Yoga, right?
Yes,
and,
absolutely.
I want to bring this up, the question about the heart for you, because I remember when I interviewed you a couple of years ago, and I asked you, and I don't think this was included in the actual video because I was very curious. I was asking you, Anaiya, how did you, the topic was about manipulation and toxic relationships, and I was very curious, how did you recover your yoni after a toxic relationship, traumatic relationship? And you said, what? Not my yoni, my heart. And I was speechless, because I had no idea that heart existed and you had to recover it, back then.
Yes. Yeah. Well, for me, the heart is the center of my being, not my gut, not my womb, not my mind. Thank goodness, my heart. And I have always been fascinated and drawn to heart opening practices. And the one I'm using at the moment is called reconciliation. And especially the time we're in now with this war between Russia and Ukraine, reconciliation comes in 3 stages. Number 1, can I coexist with this enemy, shadow, darkness, pain, suffering, abuse? Can I coexist? That doesn't mean I'm happy and comfortable and love being here, but can I simply coexist in this dark suffering? Number 2, can I trust that it's here for a reason? Not can I trust that the characters have brought it here for a reason? Can I trust the agony I'm experiencing? No. Further back, can I trust the origins of what sent it? Whether it's the narcissistic partner, or the drug-taking teenager, or a war-mongering dictator. Can I trust not them, but what's beyond them? And then finally, can I have empathy for myself in this troubled time? And that kind of practice makes my heart settle into this uncomfortable time, stay open for all others. And as we said earlier, trying not to take a side, but also being very wise to who's making the moves. So we're not putting our head in the sand like an ostrich.
Yeah.
We're very aware who the bully is.
Yeah.
And sometimes the more we go down the rabbit hole, that bully changes sides. Oh,
Yes.
it's these guys. Oh, no, it's not. It's these guys. So being keen and discerning, eyes wide open, but heart wide open too. And with these daily and nightly practices that I do to find reconciliation, my heart stays open. And I'm not in a freeze, and I'm not numb, and I'm not angry and making war with the one that I feel is the bully of the moment.
Yeah, this is really powerful, you know, because I'll tell you how I felt in the beginning. I felt like I felt like it was okay. It's gonna be for the best because I am Russian-speaking Ukrainian, and it was happening a lot of nationalistic movement. So I was like, oh, good for the best. But then I started contacting my friends and like, oh my God, but they are there. And then it started like sinking in slowly. Yeah. Because I am outside, and I started like, oh no, there is actual war there.
Yes.
And so it's all like that. And then I'm like, no, I'm going on the Ukrainian side. So like you said, like, you're looking who's the bully. So originally I was on Russian side, then Ukrainian side, then another than the Russian side, and then I'm like, and then the anger and frustration and seeing everyone how they react and the disinformation and all of that, and then I had to like be consumed by all of that until I came out in terms of that I refused to take sides.
Yeah.
The truth is, you want to pray for the truth, I think.
Yes, yes.
You know, like, I think what do you think? Do we need to be able to face the truth? What's really happening, you know?
I'm not entirely sure we will ever know any truth about anything that happens on this planet.
This is my, yeah.
So we have to find a realm where we can coexist with as much consciousness and as much love and as much action as possible, disregarding the truth of this world, because it's got a little t, and reach for the truth with a big T, which of course is beyond the wars and the famines and the abuse and the bullying of this little small planet. This is the world of man, and I don't mean man as in male, I mean human.
Yes.
And that's not a truth I'm interested in, to be honest. My truth at the moment is to keep my heart open and my eyes wide open to what I am discovering could be happening in this moment, because it changes every day.
Yeah, it does change every day.
Yeah, I mean, I'm finding myself going back to those old understandings of in the world, but not of the world. I'm here, I'm operative, but I'm not consumed by it. But I easily could be. When I first got watching the news for the first couple of days of, you know, from my perspective in Europe, it's the Russian invasion. That's what we've been told. So
Yes.
if I use that language, it's only because, I've been brainwashed by the news at first. And so, my ancestral material started showing up, because my number one fear is that it's going to sweep through Europe. And that Germany and Italy and France and Spain and England, we're all going to get drawn in again. And it's going to be a third world war. And then, of course, came the nuclear threat.
Yeah.
So that was the journey I went on for about 1 week. And then I pulled right back from the news. I'm not watching any more news. It's now time to do my reconciliation practices. And now I've found me again, and I'm back in the center. But it was a very fast journey of going into that world of chaos, because I was sitting down every evening at 5 o'clock to get the latest news from the BBC, from Sky News, which we know has been compromised. Those mainstream media channels have been compromised. It's propaganda.
It is. It is. And even though I wasn't watching those news, right? I went on, it's very interesting, because when I kind of like, I'm going to find the truth, and I started praying, I want to know the truth. And
Yes.
I asked my friend to do an energetic report for Putin and Zelensky, and she did the energetic report for me, and I looked into it. And because I know she's independent and she can tap in and she can do the profiles, and when she showed it to me, I was like, okay, I can see who has a higher consciousness and who has lower consciousness, and who is what, because when you look at the energies, and they don't lie. But then I found myself like you said, even though I wasn't watching the mainstream,
Yes.
I was still spiraling down. I was going down the rabbit hole. I was like, this one is bad. I still found a villain and a perpetrator,
Yes.
and I was going down, and then I couldn't understand how my friends are on the other side. They don't see, they are like zombies or something like that. But then, and then I'm like, but they have their own truth, and I have to respect it. I was losing my friend, who's been my friend
Yes.
from childhood, and it's been like, and I thought, enough.
Yes.
Even those kind of news, because I found like there is no sort of like no difference.
No.
Do you, I'm trying to, so the people who listen to us can understand. It's just like one battling another one. It doesn't, like you look,
Yes.
it doesn't, it's like the same thing. And I was taking sides, and I was still putting the energy, and I was still playing it, like, even though like I was thinking, oh no, you've got to see the truth in that. And I pulled out to process my heart, process myself. Like
Yes.
I said, don't listen, because I had an argument with my sister, and I was like, okay, stop. My family.
Yes. Yes.
Like the division, you could see right away going through the family. One on one side, another one is on another side.
Yes. Yes. What I find interesting in the old civilizations like Egypt, Greece, Rome, Sumeria, there's always gods and goddesses of war. It's part of their pantheon of deities. And the same with our planets. There's a planet of war, there's Mars. Even in the zodiac, there's Aries, there's the ram, the sign, the zodiac sign of war. So I'm thinking, well, if in this map of creation that the cultures and the traditions across the world all seem to agree on and share, is that in this creation, there are rulers of war. Just as there is rulers of peace and rulers of joy and rulers of sexuality and rulers of truth. So I'm wondering if there is a natural and inevitable time in creation where there is war. Because there always has been. And every spiritual culture has deities that are the heads of war. And that they are shoulder to shoulder with deities of peace and deities of love and deities of beauty. So I'm just wondering, maybe it's a theme. Maybe it's something that is inevitable and will circle round on this very precise timeline. That's where I sit. I don't agree with it, but I don't think that really matters. Whether I agree with it or not, it could be, it just is. Why would they call planet Mars the planet of war? Why would they say Hades is the god of war, Athena, the goddess of war? That's just my two penneth.
Do you know, this is very, 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 very interesting because as far as we know ourselves, war has been part of us.
Yeah.
And we can we live without it?
Yeah.
Can
because we have war on the inside.
Exactly. It's like in our DNA. Like
yes,
I found myself very much like on war. You know, I picked one side, and at this point, it doesn't really matter which side. This is when I started to step back, and I was like,
yes,
it doesn't really matter. It's like as if someone just wants me to fight, to pick a side.
yes.
So we
yes.
are together. So we kind of like, so we fight. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
It's like demons, and because like I looked like at these two presidents. Okay, one looked more like a demon, another one looked more like a, highly consciousness. But then I was like, isn't this the duality, the division?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, and they are part of the same coin. And
yes.
I started praying, what is the next level of truth? Can we peel off the deception so we can see what's behind all of this? Can we move behind all of that? But also, like you said, we don't want to put our head in the in the sand. So this is where I stand. And I haven't moved on, bless you. And this is where I stand, because
excuse me.
This is, you know what we say in Ukraine, in Russia, when you sneeze is the truth.
Oh.
Yes, yeah. Because every time like you say something and then someone sneezes, it's like, oh, what I'm saying is true. It's like a little superstition we have. So it's kind of like there. This is where I stopped because I'm still like meditating on it, and I pull out and I manage my own like that. I stay in the heart. This is very important.
Yes. I was also just thinking, again, in the myths, in the old stories that get passed down, there's always two brothers that fight each other. Let's just take Cain and Abel. There's nothing to fight over. You are the firstborn, and yet one kills the other. Same with Horus and Set, the Egyptian brothers. They too, this strong dualistic competition between brothers, the light brother, the dark brother. This has been going on since the beginning. See, you may look at Ukraine and Russia, but my duality is I look at Putin and Biden, or Biden, whatever his name is.
Biden, yes.
That's the two brothers I'm looking at. But by golly, when you zoom in really close, you actually see one and the same type. Yes. Yeah. But in the news, they're being really, Biden, the light brother, the Horus, he's going to save everybody. Putin is set, the dark brother trying to take over everything. How did they work it out in Egypt? I can't actually remember, but I do know Isis was involved because she was the mother of them both.
Yes.
Yeah, and it's the same with Sophia. She has a dark son, the demiurge, and then there is this light presence, the logos. So it's the same old story. The mother gives birth to these warring twins, these warring brothers. And her job is to settle the war. I don't think the right word is to end the war. I go back to this feeling of it is an inevitable drive within these two brothers. There is an inevitable drive to create war. It's, as you say, it's in their DNA. So you can't stop it, but you can settle it or maybe balance it.
Yes, what comes to me, yes. How about since we like, there is Kali with the destruction.
Yes.
And I had that because when the first feeling for me, it was like, oh, this is good. This was my first feeling about this war, because when my sister said, Putin started war against Russia, and I said, oh, this is for the best. I don't know why, because I was very calm.
Yes, yes.
It was good. But then
yeah.
I was like, wait a minute, you actually making a war, okay. And that didn't really, I had my brain didn't really reconcile. I mean,
yes.
heart didn't reconcile that. But then the destruction brings something new.
Yes, yes, yes. After my initial, watching the mainstream news, then I went to find out what I could about Russia. My resources might be limited because I'm on the wrong side of the internet, but I definitely come across some very valid and, a recognizable truth.
Yeah.
So now I'm like, hang on a minute. There are some elements to the Russian story that I can also digest and hold.
Yeah.
So that's what I mean. I don't think we'll ever really know the truth of any matter on this planet, especially if it's being orchestrated by humankind. But we should do our very best to get out of a dualistic mindset as soon as possible. Because the game is duality. And duality equals chaos. And chaos equals compromised, incapacitated, a non-active, non-awake human being. And they are very easily manipulated and enslaved.
Yes.
So,
yes,
yeah.
I saw myself, once you start taking one side, and once you start going in there, you fighting, you fighting. I had an argument with my best friend from childhood. I was horrified about it.
Yes.
Had to, after finding, going back into my heart and apologizing and all of that, and just because I don't care on which side she is still my friend.
Yes, yes.
And all
yes.
there is still that love there, the humans, because then you don't really fight.
Yes. Yeah.
There is no.
I often have a little fantasy of, let's just imagine that womankind is the presidents and the prime ministers. Would we initiate war? Let's just say you're the president of Russia and I'm the prime minister of England. And we didn't like each other. Would we send a bunch of tanks and missiles and grenade throwers? Would we do that to one another and one another's people?
No.
Because to me, that is just a massive, eternal no.
It's no, I wouldn't do that. Do you know, like, once you mother, when I gave birth and I saw what it is to actually grow up a child.
Yeah.
It's like, are you guys kidding me? That's a life. How much every mother puts like sleepless nights and health and oh my God, it takes an enormous amount of energy and nervous system and the whole thing to bring up the one human being, and someone is just like, oh, let's just send them.
Yeah, yeah. I increase this story. So let's just increase it a bit more. Let's imagine you as the Russian prime minister, Russian president, you have found out that I, the UK prime minister, is housing and very much involved with the trafficking of children. So now we have some intensity. So you know that I'm letting it happen. I'm bringing these children in, I'm sending them off to other countries, and I'm lying about it. I've got warehouses full of children, and I'm lying to your face. And you have intelligence on me proving that the UK is a safe place for trafficking. Now so now we have a real life situation.
Now we have,
and this is a very important. How do we resolve this? Let's just say as women, because this is probably the kinds of things they're up against. I can feel it. Yeah. Sex trafficking or child trafficking. I'm going to send the tanks. I can feel it. Yeah. I can feel the war inside of me wanting to come in and invade. But I can also feel another part, the compassion, the empathy of all the people involved. How do I stop this from happening without killing? That is the question. How does woman literally stop it effectively and cleanly, but without killing? And that's something we're going to have to contemplate. Because I don't think we have the answer.
That. And I will tell you, because I've been meditating on that too. Because yes, they found human organs harvesting in Ukraine, and it's happening there, and stem cells they harvest because it's not allowed to happen that in Western countries. They found their way in third world country where there is a population of very educated people who can do that because they don't get paid after Soviet Union collapsed and all of that. So yes, that is like that. It really I had a war inside of me because this is very valid. What is happening there? And prayer. I found that prayer would be one thing, and I had a micro example in my case when going back to my ex-husband. When I separated with him, he wanted war. I'll take you to war. I'll take you that. This is what you've done. I'll take the children from you. I'll take that. I'll take that. And so this is a micro example. I had in my mind, he's a lawyer. I had in my mind, and I'm in, so just to imagine, I didn't have even sides with him because I was an underdog, because I'm in a foreign country. I don't have anyone here. I didn't have money. I was unemployed, 2 children. He's a lawyer. He had all the money, and I wanted to peacefully separate. I wanted to be friends, and I didn't see it, but I was willing to entertain that idea in my mind. And this is what I kept in my mind, that this is what I'm gonna do. And yeah, I had a peaceful divorce. But it was a lot, because he was trying to fight and I was stepping away and I was praying. When you I found that when we hold the highest good for everyone involved, that is just energetically more powerful. Outside kind of like subsides. I don't know how. So I played with that, and when I see the reason, like, I wanted to go ahead with this summit, because I see the toxic relationships happening. When me and you, we had that in our lives. So kind of like that unraveling is happening collectively. Because we see how the government bullying, and we went through the COVID thing, and you know, like it's just like it's. Don't you see the parallel? Like, just to ask you.
Absolutely.
You've been in that situation, you know, like we've been abused. Okay, we know what it is to be there in those shoes.
Yes.
So this is our we want to present this to the audience. This is our beautiful exploration. We will have to meditate, and maybe we can record another video of that, because you put me on the spot with this. If I'm Russian, you have children there.
I do believe, though, the whole human race has to find this alternative way. We have to evolve into being able to settle a dispute without killing the people and destroying the land. You know, it's kind of like barbarians. We're barbarians at this level. We are like ground zero. We've gone back to our animal nature. And yet there are intense and shocking and terrible things happening, you know, like what we spoke of, the trafficking, the harvesting, the AI, you know, the purposeful creation of a pandemic. This is hellish stuff.
It is hellish.
This is the kinds of things we would expect to find in hell. Well, guess what? It's happening on our earth. So it's kind of like, you know, the veils are lifting. We're realizing this terrible stuff is not happening in hell with a red-skinned, you know, man with 2 horns, the devil. It's happening right here on our planet, in our everyday life. So how on earth do we coexist? Going back to that question again, how do we coexist with this? And the thing is, we've always coexisted with it, but we have been sheltered from it. We've had veils placed over so we don't see it so often. Every now and again we see it. But now, this evolving time we're in, all the layers are coming off. And so we're realizing, oh, this place is heavenly, and it's also hellish.
Yeah.
What do we do when we spot hell? When we meet the makers of hell? It seems as if it's only just appeared, but I can assure you it's been here since the beginning.
Yeah.
So what do we do? What do we do when we meet those demons or those, as we said, narcissistic partners?
Yeah.
When we meet those evil acts, what do we do? How do we respond? The base DNA will say kill. What does the heart say? Because the heart, I believe, cannot say, oh, just love them enough. Just put enough light all around them. They'll soon change. No, they won't. They're demons. They're not supposed to change. They have every right to be their demonic selves. So how can we coexist, the light and the dark, the angel and the demon? Because we gotta figure it out.
We have to figure it out. And, you know, I am glad that you mentioned this, because I am not the only one who is pondering this question. I come to it every time I bump into it.
Yeah.
And with different situations in my life. And one of the situations when I see the land being sprayed, and the war rises in my heart.
Yeah.
I feel like destroying all of this. And yet when I start talking to people, they think they do the right thing.
Yeah.
And this is like, it is everywhere. It's when we start looking around, and I think collectively we going there, and we're facing the truth.
Yeah.
One is we need to see the truth, and I know, like, yeah. Now, but there, look, when you were talking that, you know what came into my mind? Remember that we're gonna bring it back. We started with you with Kundalini Yoga. We're gonna kind of like, I'm bringing it back to Kundalini Yoga. Remember, like, Yogi Bhajan. Yogi Bhajan is another figure which I was trying to reconcile in my heart, because I do love Kundalini Yoga very much. So that's just
yes.
So let's leave with Yogi Bhajan. But what he said is that, and so let me phrase it, like with your shadow. So making peace with your shadow, because he's saying it, like, and not he, like, let's just say, like, it's been said, because that's not only he is saying, that you don't need an enemy if you're not with peace, or like a whole person with a shadow. So perhaps the answer is in reconciling all of that and bringing it to a whole in us. It's like which power from the Japji Sahib, there is that power which talks, which is reciting about the shadow.
Yes.
So,
yes.
Yeah, because otherwise, once you deny one part in yourself, the other one, it starts hunting you.
Yes. Maybe we know how to, but we just can't articulate it yet. But we do know how to, and it's in the heart, and it's in the middle of prayer, and it's when we feel that we're with a greater source, that we do know how, and we are doing it. Teeny steps, one little half step per time. This conversation might be part of how to.
Yes, I believe that so too, because I see that. I see that. I came to that space probably today, that there is a greater goodness behind it. I mean, I in terms that like in the feeling, like, yeah, I kind of like when you know here, but in here, there
Yes.
we're doing it, and I do have that in my mind. I have that picture of like we are like little seedlings, like we just or like, you know, like the birds, we just hatched, like we little,
Yes.
we make these like
Yes.
beautiful seeds, these tiny, like you said, tiny sprouts. And
Yes.
that's where we start. And
Yes.
it's gonna be no war. Because we
See,
got it like
evolution.
from the heart.
Yes.
You know, and I think as a human vehicle, we have this probably enormous possibility to cleanse the darkness, to reconcile inside of us.
Yes. It's like this evolutionary spirit. It's got to get into everything. It's got to reach those gods and goddesses of war. It can't just be when we're doing yoga and praying. So it's got to get into the real gritty, hellish realms. I don't know how true it is, but there was this story that a Russian soldier surrendered or was captured by the Ukrainians, and the Ukrainian people offers him a phone. You know, you can call your family. Would you like a cup of tea? Would you like some hot soup?
Yeah, I've seen that. Yeah.
Please let that be true. Please let that be true. Because that's just showing us that the evolutionary spirit is going into the war. The war has to be the war. It has to be as realistic as possible, because it is, you know, war is really happening. But in the war, secret agents are working. And if a soldier gets captured, perhaps there is some respect and there is some, you know, basic human caretaking going on for those soldiers, that they are offered a hot drink, they are offered a mobile to call their family.
Yes.
Let that be true. My God, let that be true.
Exactly, let that be true. And I hear from the Russian side, the Russians are doing that when they capture Ukrainians. They feed them, they give them a bath, and then they let them go, and then they let them
that's
go.
beautiful.
So
yeah.
I hear that, and they yes. So let that be true, and
absolutely.
We can. I always I say a prayer. Let the conflict be resolved for the highest good of everyone involved.
Yes.
And I see to find forgiveness for each other.
Yes.
Forgiveness for each other. I wanted to ask you about your free gift.
Well, the free gift is I used to call them transmissions, but now I'm going to call them prayer works.
Oh, well, this is exactly what we need. This is what we
prayer
need.
Works.
What else can we do? Yeah, prayer works. I love it.
And it's this reconciliation process I was talking to you about, the 3 steps. Can I coexist? Can I trust? May I have empathy? So it's a journey with words and energy to be able to find that in the heart. It's very real. It's very palpable. We can self-generate this level of love. And if we do it every night just before bed, we will close our day with a reconciled heart, and we will fall asleep without duality. There is no bully, there is no victim. There is just, I'm just going to say, there is just one hell of a process going on this planet. And we are part of it. We are awake, we are open, and we are ready to serve this process with whatever's going to show up tomorrow. Every day we have new material.
Yes, and it's important to stay in your heart. So please click the button below, and download this beautiful gift so you can do the reconciliation for you. It's very important. We are parts of the bigger puzzle. We like little bees of the beehive, and each and every heart, the more hearts we have open, I think the more chances we have to actually neutralize all of what is happening, because we will find a way to communicate from the heart. Because going back to your example with Russia and like what we were playing, let's see if heart is opening on both sides.
Yes.
Can
Yes.
you imagine that?
Yes.
The heart is opening there, then okay, let's release the kids.
Yes. Yes. Oh God.
Let's sit and talk. Why don't we release?
Yeah.
Wake up and ask forgiveness.
Yes. Yes. Because I can assure you, I believe I'm right when I say this, only because I've been in a small example. So I've been in a small example, a spiritual community where questionable things are going on. When I dared to question what was going on, I realized I wasn't the only one looking around and noticing the red flags, you know, the warning signs.
Yeah.
But if I hadn't have said anything, we were all not saying anything. As soon as someone says, I have a red flag going on, I'm not sure I want to join in this process. There's about 5% of others feeling the same way. And I also wonder, is that a formula that is everywhere? So if we went to these sex traffickers, let's just say there's 50 people involved.
Yeah.
And I said, hey, I'm not sure this is a good thing anymore. In fact, I think this is a really bad thing and I don't want to do it. There will be others, but someone has to speak out first. I think that formula is the same everywhere, whether it's sex trafficking, prostitution, drugs, drug pushing, money laundering. If there's a group of people, there's going to be 5% who are not sure they should be part of it anymore. And it's those 5% that has the power to change. It's not the ones in power. It's the little ones. It's the little ones noticing the red flags.
Yes.
They have been given the duty to speak out.
Yes, exactly. It's the little ones, because when you awaken to a higher consciousness, when you like love is the highest vibration, it is just a higher vibration. I'm going back to this book by Hawkins, Power versus Force, and
yes.
he is showing, and this is what I believe, this is the only way I got out with my ex-husband. I got a divorce without any court arrangement, because I was playing with a higher vibration. If I only act on the highest good of everyone involved, he submits. He has nowhere else to go.
Yes.
It worked, but but I have to disengage from the fight and like literally disengage, because this is where we want to do, like, it's good to speak up. You see it's not right.
Yes.
You know, and I didn't have to say, yeah, you do everything right and everything, and I agree with him. No, I wasn't agreeing with him. This is what I want. I think the love, the heart, this is the highest vibration.
Yes.
And it cancels out. He shows a very interesting example that one love thought cancels out, I think, like thousands of negative thoughts.
Yes. Yes, 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 yes. And
So,
repentance, it's like when someone truly repents, we can all feel it.
yeah.
And then we can embrace that person. So even if there was someone involved with sex trafficking and he or she truly repents and says, oh my God, I realize what I have done. I have done monstrous things and I am deeply, deeply sorry. If they are in a genuine state of humility, most human beings will put an arm around that one's shoulders and say, it's okay. It's okay. I accept your apology. Maybe not so much the parents of the children, obviously, but for the ones who are just onlooking, when we feel true humiliation and repentance, most human hearts soften.
And they need to soften. You know, this is very, very interesting what you just said, because I will tell you this. I've been abused a lot, and I've been wanting revenge, and I've been
Yes.
wanting, like I even entertained a thought in my head, like if I, like, let's say, like, because I've been raped, okay, if I go and kill that person, for example,
Yes.
I thought,
Yes.
I thought, would that help me?
Mm.
No, no. I realized even if I go and kill the guy, the pain is inside of me. I
Yes.
have
Yes.
nothing to do with him. If he goes to jail for the rest of his life, it's not gonna help me.
No. No.
Unfortunately, I had to go, like that happened. And only the pain is in me. It doesn't matter whether I just go and like I stab him many times. It's not gonna go away because it's my pain. When I took care of my pain, look,
Yeah.
I go and live and be happy. I don't
Yes.
need it.
Yes.
You know, it's kind of like it comes that inside, because then it's inside of you.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Having the person in jail, it's not gonna be like, I think the understanding, it comes in the heart, natural
Yes.
understanding. It doesn't come from condemning. If someone is condemning, I think we make them even bigger villains sometimes, or even we
Mm.
drive the person maybe to suicide or something, or like, you know, it's just that understanding of the unfolding of the story. So I'm so glad you brought that up, that even they will find repentance, we need to find forgiveness in our heart and heal
Yes.
there, because I've done things in my life and I'm not proud of them.
Yes. Same here.
Many.
Yeah.
I yelled at my children. A lot,
Mm.
and not only that,
Mm.
you know, and I smacked my child once or twice, and it was been horrible.
Yes.
And I would never do it. I mean, again, obviously, but it's been a wake up. What are you doing?
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah, it's that, you know, we're having a very interesting conversation, because it's that, like, when I have conversations with my daughter, she comes to me, Mommy, I am a bad girl. I can see how children try to find that bad and good girl, you know, like then we cut.
Yes.
This is a villain, this is a perpetrator. I mean, sorry, perpetrator and victim.
Yeah.
Dividing
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
Today I'm good, tomorrow I'm bad.
Yeah. It's like we do a bad act.
Yeah.
And then, you know, the powers of badness sort of keep us in the loop. So now we have guilt. Now we have shame.
Yes, yes, yes.
So we must do, again, going back to the reconciliation, we got to reconcile the heart. I've done a bad act. I have. But I ask God for forgiveness, and I ask to forgive myself. And, you know, and I always work with the image of God being a lamb.
I love it.
Even my screensaver is of a lamb, because to me that is if there was an image, that's what I would hope to see. So I got to make my way to that lamb as soon as possible.
Yeah.
So it's a constant alchemy to recognize we do bad things daily, and to just get back to that lamb as soon as possible, genuinely, sincerely.
Yes, and that lamb is in our heart.
that lamb is in the heart.
That
Yes.
lamb is in the heart. And I think this is a beautiful coming to the end of our
Yes.
exploration. And would you like to add anything?
No, it has been beautiful. It's been delicious and wild and passionate and honest.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it's been a beautiful conversation, and I, as always, this is my third honor to have this dance of energies between me and Anaiya Sophia and sharing this gift with you. So please stay tuned for the next episode of Radiant Relationship Show. You've been hanging out with Sita, Sadhana, Kaur, and Anaiya Sophia, and until we see each other again. Bye for now.